What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers need a center, right? Whether it's slotted into the starting role or just giving you quality backup minutes, being able to step into that role when Anthony Davis takes the night off. Somebody that can bang with the big boys, right? Especially in the Western Conference. I mean, you got several. Obviously, Jokic is a handful. You got guys like Zach Edey now on a team like Memphis, which could shake things up for Memphis quite interestingly. But regardless, Lakers need a center. They have several positions of need, in my opinion, that they need to upgrade. But if they can find a way to acquire, and target that center, bring him in, right? You have guys like Giannis Valanciunas, who is expected to be available as soon as he becomes available, which I believe is December 15th. And the Lakers are expected to pursue him then. But another target that I think is really interesting, that has been kind of rumored to be available, but it looks like, at some point he's going to get moved this season, is the Portland Trailblazers Robert Williams III. Now, ideally, he's perfect, right? He's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got the athleticism, excellent rebounder, excellent shot blocker, do everything type center. You look at Portland, have too many big men, they have too many centers. At some point, somebody's got to go, right? They can't run Ayton, Clegan, and Robert Williams. So at some point, they're going to have to make some decisions as far as centers go. The quickest and easiest one is Robert Williams III. He's kind of the odd man out. He can go to a team that needs him. The question becomes, what would be the asking price for Robert Williams? Because you're not getting a first for him, right? There's too much risk with Robert Williams, right? I don't even see a team giving a protected first. Maybe a team like the Knicks, if they get kind of like desperate, right? Because they only have Mitchell Robinson, who he has an injury history, and then Precious, right? Like, so maybe they are like, we'll give up protected first or something like that. Maybe, but I personally just don't see that being the case, right? But if you can get him for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, I think you do that, right? If you're the Lakers. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, you kind of get Robert Williams in the Jerami Grant trade, right? To where it's like you're getting Jerami Grant and Robert Williams, because Robert Williams is only making like 13, we'll just round up and call it 14 million, because the Lakers, gotta remember, Lakers got to go over. They can't take on salary, they have to go over salary. So just say he's making, 14 million, which is an easy solve for the Lakers. Lakers can easily kind of get there if need be. Even go over that with like a D'Angelo Russell if they wanted to. But chances are, right, it's going to be pricey, right? It's going to be something that is tough to kind of, because you look at Portland, they already want 2 firsts just for Jerami Grant, right? I wouldn't give 2 firsts even if they added Robert Williams, because again, there's just so much risk, right? Robert Williams would be perfect. I'd love to have Robert Williams. I mean, you want to talk about one of the big impact centers when healthy? He's one of those guys. Can help on both sides of the basketball, right? Obviously, he's not this great offensive threat or anything that can't shoot the basketball, but being that lob threat, being that floor running big, being the guy that can get offensive rebounds and keep plays alive and stuff, right? There's that element of it. But he can't stay healthy, right? Time Lord is incredible when he can play, but he can't stay healthy. Now, on a team like the Lakers, you wouldn't be asking him to play as many minutes and play as big of a role, right? Because you do have Anthony Davis. So really, you're just kind of looking for him, 15 minutes a game maybe, just slot it in, and maybe he can kind of stay healthy in that regard. But there's also the possibility that he just doesn't. And, he ends up missing, half the season, if not more. And then is he healthy come playoff time and all? It's the same problems, that the Boston Celtics had, right, when he was on Boston. Right? Just that when he's on, Boston was great, right? Like, he was hugely impactful for Boston. But he couldn't stay healthy enough to have that impact translate to real success for them, right? So that becomes the question for Lakers. But, if you're the Lakers, you have Anthony Davis, where, Boston didn't have that guy. Now, obviously they went and got Kristaps Porzingis, but they were kind of using Al Horford, who, don't get me wrong, Al Horford was great, but he's not like that you just have the problems at center that Time Lord would fix, and now you don't have Time Lord, so it's like now you're kind of small down there. Yes, again, Al Horford was good for them, but you saw the difference with Kristaps Porzingis, his size, his length, right? His ability to block shots, all of that. Well, Robert Williams could give you that for the Lakers. So, if you could get, say, Jerami Grant, Robert Williams for a first and like a pick swap, I'd probably do that, right? If you can keep one of your first so you could still maybe go make that minor trade, maybe go make that smaller move to go get a guy, I wouldn't hate that. I don't hate just trading for Robert Williams straight up, right? Like, again, if you can go get him for, say Gabe Vincent, Cam Reddish, and 2 or 3 seconds, why not? Right? Now, you could argue, well, the Lakers, wouldn't they have done that already if they could have? But also, again, Portland, they're not in a position to rush. Right? They're not they don't have to. They're not trying to win. They're not trying to do anything major. Right? I do think that you'll start hearing in the next week or so. I do think you will start hearing more kind of updates in regards to players that Portland is trading. I think that this is kind of part of it. Right? I think this is one of those additions to heading in that direction. This was brought by Brian Windhorst. Right? So I think once you get week out from training camp, 2 weeks out from training camp maybe, so we're still about 2 weeks away or so, I think you'll start hearing not just Portland but teams period starting to ramp up trades. Because again, a team like Portland, they don't want to go into training camp with Robert Williams, who probably isn't going to play, and they're going to just try to trade at some point, right? Same thing with Jerami Grant, right? It's like, do you really want to go into training camp and go into the season with Jerami Grant when you have several young guys that you're trying to grow, develop, and build that play the same position, and you have it at both forward spots? So it's like, do you really want Jerami Grant kind of taking up that playing time? Probably not. So I do think you're going to see that those trade rumors pick up. Again, if you could get Jerami Grant and Robert Williams, I think the Lakers now take a significant leap. If Robert Williams can stay healthy. Right? Because, again, he would help with the rebounding issue. He'd give you that lob threat, that floor running big, help with just getting you second chance opportunities, especially with a team like the Lakers with J.J. Redick wants to shoot more threes, right? So you could even go 1 in, 4 out, right? And just have Robert Williams, and he's just there just grabbing every rebound, every offensive board, kicking it out to shooters, giving them other chance. You can see the vision, right? You can paint the picture. It's just, then you look at his history and it's can he play more than 40 games for you, right? With Robert Williams, you only need him really in the spots where Anthony Davis misses a game here and there. So let's say Anthony Davis misses 20 games this year, right? You really only need Robert Williams for basically those 20 games to kind of play the minutes necessary, and then the playoffs, right? Because you could really use him come playoff time. All the other games in between, again, you can survive without him, and you could also, keep his minutes very tight and low, right? Kind of keep him to 10 minutes a game. Just be like, hey, man, we're trying to conserve you for the games that we need you, right? AD is getting the night off. We need you to play 30 minutes this game. And then the playoffs. We need you healthy come playoff time. And you kind of manage his minutes in all the other games, right? So you go Anthony Davis playing, say he plays 35 minutes total. Say he plays, 30 of them at the center spot, or 25 of them at the center spot, right? Then you go with 10 minutes of Time Lord, 10 minutes of Jackson Hayes, right? So you kind of split those two guys, and then that way you're able, or be Christian Wood or whomever, right? So that way you're kind of preserving Time Lord, right? You just have to manage him in a way that you don't really have to do with other guys, but the upside potential is so high with him, right? Because again, when he is healthy, that dude is a monster, right? There's no question about it, right? the dude does everything that the Lakers need and would be a perfect just slot in center. And I mean, if he could stay healthy enough to play 25, 30 minutes, I mean, there's even an argument to start him alongside Anthony Davis and have those two go inside. Good luck scoring inside and then the rebound. I mean, that would be tough, right? Like, but again, it's a big risk. So to me, it all comes down to cost, right? If you can get him for a couple seconds, then I think you take the chance. I think it's worth it. I'd even take the chance over a Valanciunas, right? Valanciunas is a safer bet, but he also doesn't fix a lot of the things that you need that Time Lord does, right? So I think the upside is just far greater with Robert Williams, and the price for them are probably the same, a couple seconds. And, contract-wise is pretty reasonable, right? Like, yes, Valanciunas, you could just swap Gabe Vincent for, Val, where Robert Williams, you got to do, like, Gabe Vincent and a Jackson Hayes or Christian Wood or Cam Reddish. But, like, that's not a big deal in my opinion, because then, again, you could bring in, like, a Jordan Goodwin or something like that, right? And now you clear that roster spot. So I just think either way, I'm okay with. We need a center. Go get a center. But if all is the same, I would take the chance on Robert Williams, right? No risk, no reward type thing, right? Sometimes you got to gamble to win, right? Like, so to me, I just think I would take the gamble on Robert Williams, right? He's a guy that I would take the shot on and just see. Plus, he's younger. So, like, if you can get him right, and you just got this new, health and fitness director and all that's, like, trust your hirings to figure out a way and put together a regime and, a playtime schedule that will keep him as preserved and fresh as possible. It's kind of my thought process with that, but, we'll see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of bringing in Robert Williams III, Time Lord? Do you think, like, yes, that's the guy you need to go get? Do you want to get him and Jerami Grant, or do you think, like, nah, just go with Time Lord? Do you think that it is too much of a risk? Because it is. Like, I get that. Like, I get, if he could play 70 games this season, like, let's say he missed 15 to 20 games a season, right, on average. Be like, okay, right, go get him, right? But it's not like there's seasons where he's playing, like, 20 games. It's just like you don't know what you're going to get with him is the problem. So I do get the risk, but I feel like it's worth it. I feel like it's worth the gamble. But do you feel the same way? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.